guys, back here with another YouTube video. So in this video I'm just talking a little bit about Ehlers Danlos syndrome. So if you guys already don't know, which I'm sure you do by my channel, that I've got EDS, so Ehlers Danlos syndrome, whatever you want to call it, EDS for short, it's much easier to say. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about like sort of the embarrassing side of EDS. I've been kind of wanting to do something like this for a while. So basically, first let's start with like sort of the, like I said, the embarrassing side of it. So Ehlers Danlos syndrome can bring a lot of embarrassment at times, certainly can. Let's maybe talk about the first embarrassing thing. What is for me is I'm fully incontinent with my bowel. I've got no control over that thing anymore. My bowel doesn't work no more. It packed in. I've got no control over that, so that's massive embarrassment. You know, Ehlers Danlos syndrome can really ravage your body, and it can do so many things to it, and that's including incontinence, fecal incontinence, and urine. I think it's, what do you call it? Urine. I think you would. I'm sure there's another term for it. I don't know. I'm sorry. I was also incontinent with my bladder for a while, but I was also going into retention, so it was a bit of a mix what was going on with my bladder. I had something called overflow incontinence, where my bladder was just filling up and filling up and filling up and filling up and wouldn't empty, and then it would just empty itself. So I had that for a while, and that got sorted by getting something called a suprapubic catheter. I did have another type of catheter before that. I had something called a urethral catheter. So they're massively embarrassing things, you know. Incontinence can be really embarrassing, you know. That's like super embarrassing, you know, thinking about, you know, you just like pooing yourself or weeing yourself. You've got no control. Like for like a 22-year-old, you know, I was even younger when this has started happening, but just an example at 22, you know, this isn't great. It is embarrassing when it happened, you know. I'm 22 and I'm in pads. I'm in incontinence pads. They're not the most comfortable things, and they don't look so good either. I would much rather be wearing a pair of knickers, but you know, best to wear a pad. But in 2 weeks' time, that'll be changing, because I'll be getting a colostomy. That's a massive operation, but now's not the time to start talking about that. Another embarrassing factor I would like to talk about with EDS is dislocations in public. It can be super embarrassing to dislocate something in public, especially your jaw. I've dislocated that a few times in public, and it's not something you can hide. Some dislocations you can hide and deal with, but a jaw's so obvious and like massively like your mouth wide open, you can't talk. Yeah, that's been a bit challenging and a bit embarrassing. Another thing is I've got gastroparesis, so I have a great tendency just to vomit as well. So if you're out and about, the last thing you want to be doing is vomiting. But numerous times, well, a few times I've had to come out of shops just to be sick. Yeah. Now let's talk about some embarrassing things. What has happened maybe with having tests done in the hospital. What are embarrassing tests? Yeah, so some rather embarrassing tests I've had done, what are a bit like, you know, first one I was thinking about was my colonoscopy. Yeah, so it is what it is. A colonoscopy is a camera what they put up your bum to have a look at your bowel. They do give you dignity pants, but really you don't have much dignity. And my goodness, the prep for that is dreadful, especially when you're incontinent. Yeah, especially when you're incontinent. Like, if you know about colonoscopy prep, my dear God. Oh, I don't wish colonoscopy prep on anybody. Yeah. Another thing I'm thinking of, the most embarrassing test that I've probably had to have is the defecating proctogram. For people who don't know what a defecating proctogram, it's literally in the title. Defecating proctogram. So defecating is pooing, and a proctogram is imaging, like you take in x-ray. So basically they put like this like cementy mix, barium cementy mix up your bum with a funny thing, like this massive long thing, and they shove it up your bum, really uncomfortable, really cold, really awful feeling, and fill your bowel up, and then you've got to sit on this sort of like toilet like thing, and they tell you what to do, like bear down, do this, do that, like, you know, that, I mean, like people in the room as well, it's kind of like, this is weird. It's more weird than anything else, but I would say quite embarrassing as well. Yeah, it was probably the most embarrassing test I've ever had, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Luckily it did kind of show up what was wrong with my bowel, so we kind of know a little bit what's going on. So the test was relevant, it was important, but it was yikes. The next one was probably the rectal physiology tests. They put things up your probes up your bum and get you to do all these little exercisey things, and again that test showed what was wrong with my bowel. But my goodness, yeah, and you had to try and push a balloon out your backside. Oh my gosh, yeah, weird. And I had that rectal ultrasound. They put a condom on the end of the thing and put it up your bum. Yeah, these are the things that I've had done. You know, I don't talk about them much, but these are the things that I've had done what are like embarrassing. Yeah, embarrassing. And then on top of all of that, I've lost count of the amount of I remember rectal examinations. I was trying to think of the correct name because I was like, bum examination, that doesn't sound right. It's rectal exam. Lost count of the rectal exams I've had. If you don't know what a rectal exam is, they put a finger up your bum and feel around it. I've had loads of them. Kind of embarrassing, kind of painful. Some doctors just go, wee, put your finger up your bum, let's have a feel. Yeah. The most gentle one, I have had a gentle one. Mr. Plousda was fairly gentle when he put his finger up my bum. No, it was necessary. All them tests are necessary. Not as bad as the sound though, guys, if you do have to have them. Just embarrassing at times. Yeah, and I should also just point out, most of these tests are carried out by males, which I don't have an issue with because it's their job. They went into the field of medicine and they are going to deal with females at times, you know. Yeah. Now let's talk about a thing what happened to me. I don't know if it's embarrassing, but it's just a little bit stupid, and it probably falls into this category of talking about it. I had a urethral catheter. If you don't know what a urethral catheter is, basically it goes in your urethra. The suprapubic one goes into your pubic area. There's a difference. Urethra is where your genitalia is. You know, it's easy for a bloke, for a man. There you go, the urethra's there. With a woman, they've got to find the bleeding urethra, don't they? Well, lo and behold, they don't know what they're doing, do they? Some people, there we go, the urethral catheter, you know, just there's the, you know, go like this, urethral catheter, in it goes. Oh, no, wrong place. Yeah, I know how many times that happened. Not just once, twice, maybe 3 times. I'm sure it happened 3 times. My goodness, how do you put the catheter in the wrong place? I thought you were meant to be medical professionals. Yep, that did really happen. Oh my. Another thing before I forget is that I also had a urodynamics test, and that's a little embarrassing as well. They put a thing in your urethra and something in your bum, in your back passage, and they test how your flow is when you're peeing and how much your bladder can hold, all of that stuff like that. So I've had all these weird and wonderful embarrassing tests. I'm trying to think what the next most embarrassing thing to come. I don't know if there's that much more embarrassing stuff to happen. Hopefully not. So yeah, that's a little bit of an insight into the into the embarrassing side of EDS. The embarrassing sides of EDS. At least that's how it's been for me, some of that stuff, you know. And I just want to say, like, you know, don't be afraid. If you do have to have any of these tests, they're not as bad as they sound. Sometimes they're embarrassing, and doctors are so good, they're so used to this sort of thing, and so are nurses, you know, and they look after you really, really well. I do get some, I had this, I remember something else. I had this young doctor, he couldn't have been that old, he must have been 32, 33, sort of very young guy, doctor, and I had a dislocated shoulder, and didn't have anything on underneath the t-shirt. He's kind of panicking a bit, you know, like shoulder and chest, shoulder and chest. Yeah, he's like, oh, so yeah, I think some of the poor young guys sort of also kind of equally embarrassed, which isn't good, because mate, you went into that field, you went into medicine, you know that you're going to see young girls and women, whatever, just get over it. Another thing is, I just want to point out before I go, some doctors don't actually know how to spell Ehlers Danlos syndrome. Don't even know what it is sometimes. That's also embarrassing, because you're like, you're the doctor, surely you should have heard of it. But no, that isn't the case. Yeah. Education. Educate people about EDS. It's so important. Educate away. So yeah, guys, this has been the video. Please do like, share and subscribe, and God bless as always, and of course stay safe, because we are still in a pandemic. God bless. Bye.